Courage, conscientiousness, and compassion. If you have those three skills, you can be a truly transcendental leader, and you can help make this world a better world, and you can earn a lot of money. Out here in the Wadden Sea, West Jutland in Denmark, on a project I have for my nature conservation company with one of my largest customers, directly for the Danish state. It's fantastic to work here, the privilege to work in nature. And one of the things about working out here with that view from the office every day, building these lines that protects the shores from erosion and provides habitat for a huge amount of wildlife, enforcement fowl and fish and crustaceans all over. It is we have oysters here, fantastic oysters, real oysters here as well, loads of them. It's a beautiful thing. It's a place to be. And when you are here, you think differently about business. You start to think much differently about biodiversity, about ESG, environment, social, and governance, and how that affect everything we do, and how everything we do has a direct effect on this we see out here, right? What kind of materials you use when you work out here. All the things we find floating in the sea and shutting up, the effects it have on our life, on our biodiversity and the biology of everywhere. Recycling, everything, it changes a lot, how we think. And this is one thing I'm working a lot with in leadership, when I'm trying to, in my transcendental leadership things, teaching people that consciousness is universal. Because if you embrace that thought that consciousness is universal, you will act totally different, right? Ethics, moral values, etc. Everything changes, and you become much more positive, and you love the world much more and the nature, and you behave differently. And a good friend of mine today wrote a nice piece and was talking to me about how it isn't about reducing our footprint. It isn't about reducing how much we pollute, but basically about making the world better, like doing it better than we was before, and how businesses can actually thrive by making nature better than it was before. He had a great point where he mentioned like a forest, right? It's Jesper Reel, fantastic guy, you know, really expert and perfect guy to work with. I love working with him. And speaking about like in a forest where a tree binds up carbon, sucks down, it gets leaves, the leaves fall down again, and they rot and compost in the ground, creating more soil, right? So nature actually creates more of itself all the time, right? It improves. And we can do that too in our businesses. We could actually, I'm not too keen about carbon things and carbon neutral, but we could be energy neutral. We could actually have and create buildings and factories that produces more than they take, that reuses more than they use, so that every product that come out can be used in many different ways. And I think this is a problem we've been having through life as a business. We've been thinking only on production, putting forward a product, buying resources, throwing out a product and selling it. Instead of looking at what else can we do with that product, how can we do with the whole things in the production, how can we make the world a better place? How can we make everything from environment, social life, and governance better? How can we do things better? And I tell you, it doesn't matter which company you come into. There's always ways you can improve, right? Many times, of course, we find that the red tape or the bureaucracy is holding us back from these. There's too many regulations. And that's, of course, a great thing about Trump and Doge, is that they're trying to break all these regulations that is stifling real progress, right? Because very often it really is stifling progress. It's too difficult to change something once it's been established. Even within companies, there are too many rules and regulations and it goes too long to change it. But we really need to look at the wider picture. It's like, how can we produce this while making the world a better place? How can we ensure that what we put out there is more than what we took in here, right? That is true business. And as transcendental leadership coach, that's what I help leaders develop. A vision that makes the world better. A vision where we see ourselves not just colonizing this earth and making it great and better, but going to Mars, right? Up there, as Musk says, like colonizing another planet. My only point is, are we ready to colonize another planet when we can't even manage the planet we're living on? And that's where I would say we're a couple of decades too early to colonize anything, because we haven't properly managed this earth, and therefore I don't think we are quite ready to be the race that steps into space yet. For ethical reasons, right? Moral reasons. But we could. And I think this decade could become the decade where we change as human beings, right? Stop this war crap, make peace, and do business. Because trade is what has created the human civilization. It is trade that has created us into this global powerhouse, right? It is our ability as human beings to work together across cultures, across boundaries, across borders, to create something together, to share and to trade raw materials and goods and products and arts all around. That is what has created us fantastic. That's why we outcompeted the Neanderthals, which was stronger than us and had a larger brain than us. But we had this social concept, Homo sapiens. We became the dealers, right? We could trade, deal, we have empathy, we have compassion, right? Those things are hugely important in business. And I always say that there are three things that actually makes me a Christian leader and how I think about myself as a Christian. And I'm not talking about a theological Christian. I'm talking about a follower of Jesus and his message. And that is the thing, that courage. Courage is fundamental to make the right changes in the world, in yourself, in your company, in your family, in your environment, in everything, in ESG, environment, social governance. It takes courage to create biodiversity and respect it. It takes courage. The same with conscientiousness. You have to be conscientious. You have to follow what you agree. You have to follow your vision, even when it's difficult. You have to move towards it, right? You have to really be inspired by it. Whether it's going to Mars or it's creating these lovely seashore protections, you have to see the vision so that it counts for everything you choose, every material, whether it's the poles we put down, the branches we lay, that they're ecological and sustainable forest, etc., that they don't pollute, that they fit in with the things, that the nails we use are properly, they won't rust or corrode, etc., that the tools we bring out here, that the fuels is kept on the other side of the base so it doesn't come down here and pollute, etc. All these things, right? That you follow that conscientiousness, that you follow your plan and you carry through what you tell yourself and others that you will do, right? And of course, my last one, compassion, right? I'm big follower of compassion, because you need compassion to forgive yourself when you fail, but also to forgive all the other people that work for you and with you when they fail, because we all do. That's part of our humanity, of failing. It's a frailty of humanity. We will fail. But if you have the vision, all you have to do is like, I fucked up. I won't do it again. Not the same mistakes. We'll make other mistakes, but not the same one. And change it, right? And have compassion for yourself. Forgive yourself, forgive your co-workers, forgive your boss, forgive the person who cut you off in the traffic. Everyone has a shitty day. Try to forgive. Be compassionate, right? I don't mean you should let it go, but have compassion for the other people. Courage, conscientiousness, and compassion. If you have those three skills, you can be a truly transcendental leader, and you can help make this world a better world, and you can earn a lot of money, because there's a lot of money in people that have courage to see new visions, people that are conscientious enough to see the truth, and compassionate enough to have a great effect through ESG, environment, social governance, on the world, on the project, on everything. So, go out there, be courageous today.